Oh, it works. You're streaming.
Alright, I pasted a link in the Spring QnA channel. Can you, would everyone be able to go to that and see if they can see the YouTube stream, check if audio is okay and stuff like that? Is the audio okay?
Hello?
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. And are you able to hear me inside of it? Because I know I'm on a different,
Okay, it works. It's just on delay.
Can you hear my voice in it? Because I know I,
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
okay. My mic's on a different stream then.
Yeah, it's on delay right now.
Okay, let's take our seats and... And I think we're good to go. So...
Are we live?
I guess we
I'll hit the start event.
Okay, cool. Then I'll wait a few seconds. Wait, we're missing 2 developers in their seats. What the hell? What's going on?
I'm joining.
Yeah, who's actually... Okay.
That'll notify everyone to join.
The hell's
We don't
Sunrust?
have a fourth this time.
The hell's Bucket?
Yeah, where is
Remember
he?
he said he was gonna. Remember he said
He said maybe he was coming. He said
Oh, I think
maybe.
he was
We'll need
sleeping.
an emergency developer. Let's look in our super
Well, you
admins
have
list.
Dark
Not
One.
me. He's not me.
Yeah, we need a wild card.
We could have just 3, I think.
Okay.
Okay, so for those of you who are just joining us, we are going to be virtually streaming this in the cinema server. So join the cinema server if you want rewards at the end of the stream. It is also being streamed on YouTube. That'll serve as our archive. And the Q&A channel is what's going to be recorded. The Spring Q&A channel and in-game cinema chat will be recorded for the stream. Alright, I think we're ready.
Cool. Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, cool. Welcome everyone to the Spring Sunrust QnA developer podcast. We're going to be splitting this in a few sections. The first one is going to be talking about previous stuff that we've mentioned, Q&A, followed by what we have ongoing, and then any plans that developers might be working on in the future. Afterwards, we do have a few community questions that we'll just discuss. And then once we've done that, we'll then start taking questions from the audience, followed by the usual lightning round stuff. So I'll go ahead and begin with what I have. So, the two big ones previously were the Banished rework and Dark Market, which I think that was just interactions, exploits, what people think it was missing. But we'll start with the Banished rework. So, the biggest issue people had with it was you were just stuck in a menu that you had to navigate while you could just get killed really easily. And what I experimented with was this channeling ability for it, where you can freely move around and convert points, and then when you get back into a cade, safely spend them. But people didn't like that because they preferred just using the shop. So we had mixed results. What I ended up deciding was just to have both, where you could channel, use the shop, and honestly, I think just the favorites tab really helped. Just be able to just open it, just click on something, and just run away straight away. So, what are your guys' thoughts on the Banish now? Do we think it's in a good state? Like,
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really like losing all my points instantaneously, but I'm sure I don't really buy from the Banish, so I don't really have a good input on it.
You mean the channeling stuff?
Yeah, I lose my points instantly if I accidentally press it.
Okay, I see.
It was pretty funny. Someone lost a little point. But it was on them, pretty much.
Yeah, in my experience, I usually use the legacy version of just buying the weapons outright.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't use the new stuff, like the new way of doing it.
Yeah, I don't think we can really swap them around, though, can we? We can have the channeling on like F2. I think that would be confusing. Even though you just pressing use on it, it's a lot easier. I don't know.
I mean, maybe just pressing use on it gives you that, and then you can like enable the
Yeah.
channeling. I'm not sure.
Honestly, I'm not sure if we need the channeling, though. I think a lot of people enjoyed the shop once we just added the favorites tab. I think that was a major quality of life improvement. But I know some people do like the channeling stuff. So I think, I don't know. I don't really plan to do anything for it. We probably have to have like a poll for that. But yeah, the problem with it though is it's not really user friendly. Because everything else, you press E, you'd expect the menu. But in this case, it starts draining your points, which is not great. So, I don't know. We'll just have to see what the community thinks about that. The other thing that I had was just the dark market stuff. People will probably notice that all of the horde buffs have been removed. One of the reasons for that was just the status spam. We were trying to just tackle general status spam because it was really affecting server performance. That was one of the reasons for it. I don't think it's necessary that we needed those hard buffs. We just kept the health boost one, the health boost. Yeah. In the future,
I
we
also
might have
think
some more. I don't know.
I also think that should probably be gone, but that might be a topic for another day. Every instance of horde boosting scales too well.
I think people use that when they're already steamrolling humans, don't they?
Yep, they use it
Yeah.
to steamroll.
Insult to injury. Yeah.
Like if there's like 70 zombies, 30 humans, it's pretty much over. You do a health boost and then it's gone. Cade's gone.
It
That's
does
those adding to the
scale.
link up problem.
Yeah, it does scale with the zombie to human ratio, but it's still adding insult to injury, I think. Just unnecessary. So I don't know. That might get removed. That tab might just disappear. It was just an idea of just like, okay, how can a certain zombie help his entire team? But I don't think with bots and that, I think it's just too much.
Would
The
that
value that it gets you. Sorry,
Yeah.
what?
would that get moved to like some sort of automated system like ZDark or a metagame managing horde buffs instead?
Honestly, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's a good one as well. The Z director, that's been stripped down quite a lot. Like, you don't get it just gives you dark essence at this point, and the only other thing it does, well, two other things.
Demi
It
Rush.
spawns the Nidus worm, and it gives you a chance to spawn as an evolved zombie. That is all the Z director does now.
What's the demi rush then?
The Demi Rush is only for point save, and I think it's something that Frey still wanted to keep. But
It
there
was
shouldn't be
happening on
any-
main.
There shouldn't be any Demi Rushes on main ZS anymore. If it is, then it's unintentional and should be removed. So I'll go ahead and just make a note for that.
I think I've seen it several times happening on main.
It's probably bots though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bots spawn as Demi bosses. Okay, I'll make a note of that. I think it can also happen on maps that don't have dark gifts.
Oh, that
if
probably
drops,
was why.
yeah, if drops are not supported, it'll just switch to just giving you Dark Essence instead. And what happens is all the bots get a bunch of Dark Essence and they all just cash it out, and that's how you get rushes. But that can probably be removed, I guess. I think a lot of this is just like reducing power from zombies where it's just unnecessary to have these extra things. It's just too much. But the other things with the dark market as well, people wanted some more quality of life stuff. So, was it something where it just buys upgrades for you automatically, or where you just put things in a queue? That's still on the back burner right now. I haven't forgotten about it. There's a note for that. But I think that is everything that I've previously discussed in the Q&A. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to say on that before we move on to like what's currently going on with ZS?
Nope, I'm good on that.
Okay. Let me just have a look. So the current ongoing stuff that I've been involved with, the big three ones, link up resistance, the medic content updates, and blood armor. So the thing that we're trying out now to solve this link up issue that HSD initially suggested was that when enough zombies are hitting a barricade, that it starts to receive damage reduction, which just scales off the DPS. Bucket did some changes to make that a lot more smoother. But what we did is we just removed all the other restrictions because they just felt like band-aid fixes, like all the class limitations and stuff. And I think it's going pretty well now. Like, you don't have zombies breaking your barricade just straight away, just melting through it. They still have a lot of health, though. Like, you're still fighting just a wall of flesh piling, but you have a better chance now. I think that's working okay, the link-up resistance. What do we think about it?
I thought that it was a matter of time before people started doing that again. I mean,
What
it's always
link-ups?
been a strong aspect of ZS ever since the old days.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure like that was inevitable.
Yeah. And I think it's fine that we just accept it as part of ZS. You're going to have zombies that want to work together, and we shouldn't, necessarily discourage that teamwork. We just have to make sure that it's not unhealthy in the game. And I think the whole link up resistance works quite nice. You can still, have your link ups and ambush humans and just have a big impact on the game. But it's not just going to steamroll the humans where everyone's frustrated because they can't do anything about it. So I'm happy with how the link up resistance is working right now.
Yeah, and it can be adjusted if it's too strong or too weak.
Yeah. Right now it does scale with scales with DPS, it scales with your waves, props health, the props repair health. All of this is considered for it. And it's still quite new, so it can always be tweaked. The other thing as well is medic content updates. So medics have been lacking in a lot of just love in general, I think, over the past few months. So I made it one of my goals to try to just give them some new content, do some balance changes and stuff. So I've been working with Honor Diff, still am. We're planning the third part of the medic update, but we wanted to give just healers a bunch of new toys So that's why we got the medical crossbow, the sniper, the magnum, and the medic sword as well. Those will probably have some balance changes planned, but a lot of that is just basically what Honordiv thinks, and I'm discussing with him. There'll be some more skill changes, trinkets and stuff, so expect more balance updates for that, and those will be posted beforehand anyways, before they go live in the in-depth discussions or status discussions, so people can see the change log. Like these big updates, I've been trying something new where I just sit down with one or two players that we know we can trust, that are good at the game, and just see what they think, and then just post the update and that. The other thing that I had, let's see. Oh, sorry. Do you guys have anything to say about medics right now?
Oh, is that including buffing, or is that another topic that you're going to talk about?
That's probably. I think that might be another topic at the end.
Okay, then we'll hold off
I'll
on
make
that.
a note of that to talk about buffing.
Did we ever discuss the dichotomy between medical kits and medical weapons? I know some people bring up.
I don't think so.
I think some people bring up that medical kits are kind of. They have a weird niche at the moment because they're efficient, but they're also really slow compared to lots of the starting medical weapons, like the medical rifle that heal really fast. They're capable of burst healing.
I think the plan was to just make like all the medical kits these really slow but efficient tools, and then all the medic weapons to be a lot more fast, but they burn through your medical ammo. I think that's what Bucket wanted to do as well, and maybe Honordiv was talking about making medkits more efficient but slower. Nothing else there really. What was it next? Blood armor, melee changes. Okay, yeah. So this was another one of those experiments I was doing where I was listening to Revenge and Wicked Blizzard on this one to see what they think about blood armor and everything. So, some of the things I was doing for that was the leech rate. I removed all the modifiers for that because we were having this issue where there was too many things to balance around blood armor. So I just wanted to make some stuff baseline, remove these extra modifiers. So now it's like, okay, we got a really fast leech rate. We're going to stick with that. We're not going to do any skills that change it. And then it just makes it easier to balance because everyone's leech rate's the same now. I think it's in a okay spot. My idea for like meleeing is that you should be rewarded for being fast and dodging attacks rather than just tanking zombies, because it's not fun when you're on the other end of the weapon and you're just hitting the humans and they just don't die. They can just soak up so much damage. So that's why we're sort of going now into a melee meta where you have a lot of people just running really fast, because I think that's just better. Because then, if you do trap them or catch them, then they usually die pretty quick. And expect some more changes on that. There's certain things that we talked about earlier, like Scott mentioned, what was it, Spirit Essence? The trinket?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's just flat stat upgrade. That should probably be reworked into more conditional stats.
Yeah. So there's certain things that we still want to either nerf, rework, or balance for melee, but I think it's in a much healthier state right now, blood armor. It should have never been a second health bar. That was a nightmare to balance. We want it to just be this, fast recharging shields that can help you soak up just a little bit of damage. And then the other thing that I was experimenting with was this new trinket called the Brawler's Dew. And that was supposed to be like an answer to have a little bit of self-sustain for melee players. It's a bit too powerful, especially when you perfect it right now. So that might be nerfed in the future. But the idea was you get a tiny little bit of health back. I think right now as well, Phantom Health is not in a very good state. We did want to just compress all of Phantom Health down into a single trinket, which is what Bucket did when he put in the Banished. The problem we had then was that we don't really have good support for just deleting a whole bunch of skills. People might know that there was a bunch of problems where your skills weren't being saved, or it was just really buggy. But that would be nice to just revisit it and just compress all that down into just a single trinket, because I don't think we really need Phantom Health anymore. I think it's just unnecessary. What do you guys think?
I think that we went over this before with the skill tree though, but I think if we took like a day or 5 to go through the entire skill tree, find out what all the placeholders are, find out which ones are not so great, we'll remove it and add it back later, and
Yeah,
kind of make a skill tree 2.0. Then we can increment the skill tree version. Everyone's skill tree will be reset as a consequence of that, but we'll start out fresh, and all the
Yeah.
skills that we have included will be useful, core, something we can work with.
yeah,
It would also decrease the skill point investment you'll need to get builds that you want, so it would help alleviate the whole, oh, you must be Remort 25 to do this, this, and this. Which isn't true for a lot of things, but there are a few very esoteric builds that require, the extra skill points.
yeah.
I thought Phantom Health was fine or cool. I mean, I don't think it should just be flat out abandoned.
But what do you think about if it was just put in like a Banished trinket?
You mean like a trinket build apart, like so you can stack it on the side of blood armor? Maybe. I guess that's like something for another day. It's probably hard to
Yeah.
coexist with blood armor.
Yeah, it would need to have a downside with blood armor, I think,
Yeah,
which is
because if
what
you have
Bucket
both,
did add.
yeah,
He-
core wise, it would have to have a downside.
Yeah, but because of the skills, the bugs that came with them, he had to revert all of those changes, unfortunately. But no, I agree with Magic. I think the best thing we can do is just plan a new skill tree and just get rid of all these placeholders, because there's just more and more placeholders as time goes by, because a lot of the stuff is just becoming baseline now, or
Well, you don't
it's
like
just
jump?
a bad idea. The what?
Jump.
Jump.
+1 jump
Jump.
power.
Yeah, there's a lot of +1%, which we don't like that they're there, but unfortunately, there's not much we can do about it until we just would have to release a whole new skill tree. But
Yeah, I think then it would probably be healthier for the game to have Phantom Health stuff on trinkets rather than just thing
Yeah.
on blood armor, because then you could add better modifiers for it.
yeah, absolutely. But we understand the frustration that players might have with the mess of the skill tree and all the placeholders and stuff, and the whole meme of +1%. We know it's a problem and do want to address it when we can.
And on the topic of melee, I think it's okay for melee to be strong as it is now. But the problem that, at least from what I can see, is that they're extremely mobile. Like if a
Yes.
melee person fucks up really hard and there's a bunch of zombies around and they're slow, they're dead. They're not going to
Yeah.
get out of that. I don't think a melee person should be able to die to a single zombie, though.
Yeah.
Like, if you're running after somebody outside, they should be able to survive one zombie coming after them. And I think that's what a lot of players think that maybe devs don't want to see. Like, that's not true. Like, if a
Yeah.
single violator is coming after somebody, they should not lose to that. If it's even if it's like a parasite, they shouldn't just flat out lose to it.
Yeah.
And they should be able to go, like, depending on how far they are into their build, I think they should be able to also go toe to toe with bosses. But I think drawing the line would just be like lessers
Yeah.
or great evils. They shouldn't be able
Yeah.
to do anything to those, or at least
Yeah.
have a really hard time against them.
Yeah, I think you should have a really good chance to just kill a demi-boss. I think that's fine, unless you're really screwing up. But lesser evils, Absolutely, I think they should be a challenge.
So I
And
think for bosses,
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure.
they should be a challenge, but I'm pretty sure it depends on how far you are into your build. I think that's again
Yeah.
that there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, which the skill of the boss player and how they use their kits and which boss they are,
Yeah.
and then the melee player how far they are into their build, and even
Yeah.
just like the terrain around them, like if it's open or there's somewhere to climb to get away from them. So
Melee
like
players when
it's
the
not
boss goes after them.
it's not super straightforward how that should be handled, and I think it's like maybe people think like developers think it should be baseline bosses should always beat out a melee player. No, I don't think that should be it either.
Yeah. I think if you're skilled enough, then absolutely, I think that's fine. My issue comes with then when you have a melee player that's just crouching, holding left click, and they just win. I don't think that's very fun, though.
Against zombies, probably not.
Not-
I don't think so.
Now, against bosses.
Against a boss, well, it depends on the boss. Again, I think that highly depends on the boss itself. I mean, if
Yeah.
they're doing it to a puke pus, then yeah, they're gonna beat it.
Yeah. But not
So
like a butcher, though.
they shouldn't beat Butcher. I don't think they beat Butcher. Still, maybe
Yeah,
now
no.
that he lost a bunch of power. But the problem is again, like buffing Butcher and Nightmare, we can buff them and buff their stats, but they'll just hurt gunners a lot more
Yeah.
than melee players. Like then it's just like really frustrating for people to go outside. So I just
Yeah.
want to be more careful about stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to avoid buffing zombies where possible because I don't think it's
Yeah.
a good idea. Because, like,
yeah,
okay,
looking
who are
at
we
that.
actually trying to buff these zombies to fight? Because it's just going to hurt everyone. And gunners constantly suffer from these melee changes. I don't think it's fair on them.
I think it would be better to look at the melee stuff and make things more conditional and less flat.
Yeah.
So like again, that plays into Spirit Essence being just like a big stat boost for roaming, which is crazy. Like the stats it gives for roaming might not seem much, but 14 speed, that can cancel out at least like 3 downsides for a bunch of skills.
Yeah.
And the jump power is good for just general mobility, because zombies are obviously not very mobile. And there aren't
It's just
really
a
any
good
flying
roamer stat
bosses.
stick.
Yeah, it's a good roamer stat stick that should be turned into something that's more interesting.
Yeah, I agree. So, let's see. What else have we got next? I think that's everything ongoing right now, unless you guys have got anything else you might be working on right now.
Well, I'm not really working on anything other than trying to get the map list consistent, removing bad maps. Always appreciate when people report bad sigils or bad maps, so I could look at them, or
Yeah.
anyone else can look at them.
On the topic of maps from the last community Q&A, I remember someone asked about, would offline map download would ever be a publicly supported thing. So we are looking at updating the wiki's map listings. We plan on having most of the maps that are on rotation be available on the wiki, and you'd have like basic information and also a link to the FastDL to download it directly. Something I've been thinking of was having a Google Drive archive, which would have like a lot of ZS maps, maybe even ones that are not on rotation. But that's more of a prospective, sort of nice to have thing.
I have to clean up the fast download, and I could tell you if when I do that and make sure there's no duplicates or anything that isn't being used currently, so we don't have to have people download maps that are really big and aren't used anymore. So yeah, we are trying to make like the wiki have most of the maps and even just like general stuff about the map, but that's a big task. So we are kind of hoping that people will help us, or I can get mappers to write their own wiki articles. Johnny Moe made a really good article for Butcher's Den, which is like a skeleton for what we want. So that's something that you would have to contact one of us about
I think the
if you want to help out.
I I think the upcoming mapping contest, after all the maps are played and when things are calming down, we can sit down with all the mappers and try to get some of them on board with registering their maps.
Well, we did, and they didn't want to write anything because writing the wiki article, like I wanted it to be more in depth. Like I wanted like trivia about the map or layout advice or just like whatever Johnny Mo has on his Butcher's Den article, like a skeleton. It doesn't have to be super in depth, but did want the baseline for all the maps and then the fast DL link. So yeah.
Incentives for players to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I was going to talk about incentives. We'll decide on incentives if somebody wants to help out. We don't want like garbage on the page. There has been somebody who posted complete garbage. So yeah, there's a specific way we want it. And we don't want the whole page polluted by lore that nobody's going to read or care about. And that's just made up.
Yeah, lore is going to be a little bit of a... I would say keep that inside the maps.
Yeah. You can keep it to the trivia section, but definitely would prefer that mappers who made their maps are either consulted or okay with that.
What's that entity
So,
called? Game_text? Just use that. Use like 20 of those.
yeah, but we'll have that set up. I've been kind of busy just like fixing up the map list itself. Like I probably fixed like about like 50 maps myself, and other people have helped me
It's a
to
good segue into
balance.
mapping in general. As far as sigil spots go, I know some people complain about sigil spots on point save and main. I think we're still just, if people report broken stuff, we'll just fix them. I think as far as FGD goes, I still think about the FGD, I promise. I'm not really sure how the best way to go about adding stuff like drop points or banish nodes to allow mappers to use them. I did think about some more like surface customization that mappers could do. Like maybe mappers could even define a beat set that would play on their map only, that replaces the default beat set that if someone has. But aside from that, there might be some FGD updates coming soon.
The game rule entity needs to be looked at actually. When you disable sigils, that also disables the banish sigil. I've noticed that.
Game rules might just become, it either might be split up into their own entities so mappers can fine tune control stuff. Because I know that you complained about how like it's hard for us to go back in and like disable
You
it
can't
because
change it.
it's all using Jeff Boom legacy stuff.
Yeah, you can't actually change that if it's on the map, and that's a problem. So I just tell mappers not to do it and let me do it. But I noticed that there's like wonky behavior with some of the options too. And also, I did talk to Pooflet about the Nidus Worm killing a lot of gimmick maps if there's drop points. So the only way to counteract that is to not have drop points.
So that's one thing I was looking into, just adding to the game rules if the Nidus Worm should spawn or not.
Oh yeah, Johnny was asking for one.
Yeah, I know. He
for
ruined
Nidus
that.
Worms?
Yeah, that it ruined his map. Ruined the
Yeah,
interesting gimmick
okay.
map that he had.
Yeah, I'll make a note of that.
For what?
Nidus Worm would ruin it. Like 5 rooms, the map 5 rooms.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't imagine Nidus Worm working on that map.
Is Nidus Worm...
I don't think it works on it.
It's disabled on objectives, right? That's a stupid question.
That's
Yes.
not an objective map.
Oh, because it doesn't have objective in the title?
Nope.
No,
I think that's
I
kind
think
of...
that's a legacy labeling.
I think that's like the band-aid we have where it's like if you want to do special maps, you put objective in it to disable like 99.9% of ZS, but I can see how that's not good because then on point save you get a supply crate for free, you get a banish sigil for free.
Yeah, I made a note of that, so I'll be sure to try to include disable Nidus Worm in the logic game rules for mappers.
Yeah, so also regarding maps, I have been calling really old or ugly looking maps that have almost no sentimental value, I guess, towards the players. So there's probably going to be a lot less ugly maps and old maps. And I'm planning to have all that sorted out at least by the end of this year. And the map list would be very, very consistent. Hopefully sooner than that. Shouldn't take very long. Like all the maps should be consistent in terms of balance. And I think that helps balance the game mode out. Like, because then it's easier to balance the game mode if all the maps are consistent.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, let's see. The next thing, state of weapons. Early game, melee DPS. Then I got a note here. Look at nerfs as well as nerfing sources of buffing that could be adding to the problem. So this sort of goes into what you're saying, Scott, about buffing. So what do you think about like early game DPS? Like I'm sure you've seen that clip that Rayox posted where it was just like whack-a-mole. Zombies, the second they appeared out, they just died, and gunners could not shoot them.
Okay, so the problem with that is, well, early game, it's all about burst. And any sustained DPS just doesn't really work. And it's also pop scaling. And I think it's also, again, map dependent. Where if those spawns are not, if there's one spawn as they come out, they will probably pop instantly. They'll be able to get maybe one or two swings off, and then they'll pop. So it's just like the first round of ZS is just going to be farming zombies who come out of gas, and that's always going to be like that. And they're going to die quick. And again, pop scaling. So if you don't get the quick burst in to get your points, and you're probably not going to get anything. So that's probably why melee is really good, because melee is like a quick burst of damage. Well, mostly, unless minus like the plank or whatever early. I don't know if it's too high or not. That's like a really loaded question. It's a lot. There's a lot of factors that go into it.
Yeah. I think the two things were just like, okay, what's the DPS of tier 1 and 2 and tier 2 melee weapons? Because if you look back through the years, it's just received, buff after buff. Axe used to do 45 damage, and now does 69 damage. So a lot of these weapons have received substantial buffs.
Right, but also zombie health has gone up too, so.
Yeah, in order to accommodate for the just high population. Otherwise, if we had zombies that still had 200 health, I think even humans would hate that because they wouldn't be able to get any points.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think you
Also-
have to take into account population scaling for this sort of thing.
Yeah,
If there's a lot of
absolutely.
players, then there's just be a lot of people at the spawn. But in
Yeah.
terms of DPS, I'm not too sure. I guess that's like, again, it's just like a question that you have to ask. Like maps, does a map have multiple spawns? Can they escape the gas somehow? Like, are they just doing it to get boss progress? But it's always going to be about burst at high pop.
Yeah. So this is probably easier to answer then. What do you think about just early game buffing? Like tools and weapons that just give you buffs?
Right, we did talk about that. It is definitely really strong. Rayox pointed out that it's almost like if you get both agility and strength, then it's almost like a 50% DPS increase.
Yeah.
So we were talking about toning that down and making it scale based on, per weapon. So, but also buffing like the efficiency of the lower tier. So it would just be a trade-off. It would probably equal out to about 25% DPS increase for lower scaling weapons, and then you would have more ammo to do it. So yeah, it's just like equalizing the power of that, because the person getting buffed is definitely going to skyrocket over everybody else. Have a huge advantage. Like it's probably too big of an advantage. So we don't want to hurt the people buffing.
Okay.
We don't want them to like burn through all their ammo for like half the return. Just want to
So
lower
you
the
wanna
amount of damage.
You want to keep the profit that the buffers are getting, but we just want to decrease the potential extra DPS that the people receiving the buffs get.
especially on
Bit
early
too
game
high right
weapons.
now.
Yeah, especially on early game weapons. I mean, it would probably have to be all game too. Just like a whole buffing balance pass.
Yeah.
So the goal of that would just be to only hurt people who are getting buffed, rather than the person buffing.
Yeah. Okay. Noted that. So you just want to tone down buffing, but don't hurt the people that are giving the buffs. Okay, that's fine. Next thing, medic update part 3. I guess that's more for me to answer. There's not too much going on with that right now. I am still talking with Honor Def about that. He's giving me some ideas. Quickly, I can say that some of the possible suggestions for part 3, Aberrant Ward rework. He's got a few ideas for that. The Rejuvenator tool, that might be reworked as well. Sanctus, not much on there. Seraph is probably going to get a nerf for damage. Exonerator, probably a little nerf for the damage. White Mage Staff, that might receive a bit of more rework, making some Medical Essence works with it. It's got too many spells right now, so one of the spells might just get combined. Slow Metabolism, that's going to need changing because that's hurting medics right now. Any player that picks slow Metabolism, the medics don't like it when you take that skill because you're ruining their healing received.
Ah, yes, the meme skill.
Yeah, so that skill is probably going to get completely reworked so it doesn't just grief medics. But those are, those are pretty much the main big things coming for the medic update. When I get around to working with it, I will be sure to post about it, discussions, whatever. But I'll try to get along to get that done soon. Next thing on the list.
I wonder if slow metabolism can be changed so that it doesn't affect direct heals, but like passive heals you get from spread feasting or like med cloud bombs, it does affect that. But like it can affect it more harshly.
Yeah.
Might be something to think about. Or could just remove it.
It would need to be done in a way that it's not hurting the profits of the medics. So we'll see. I'll speak with Honordif about that. He's given me a few suggestions for it.
Another thing is we could probably safely remove the medical essence scaling early game.
Yeah, so just scrap it completely.
Yeah, all that scaling
Yeah.
could go away.
It is a
That'll be
band-aid
fine.
thing.
It was a band-aid. It could just go away. Honestly, it could probably do that when your update comes out.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, so move medical essence scaling from game. Okay, the next thing, bosses to lose their gas protection after some time. This is something that Firestorm has also brought up, where maybe bosses, after 2 waves, they should no longer receive the gas protection to prevent cases where a wave 2 boss stays alive to like wave 4, 5, and 6. What do we think?
There's definitely like some so like I would say like mostly happens on the lit, but I can understand why.
Yeah. Yeah, Lich is usually going to stay alive the longest. Things like Devour as well.
I mean,
any
they
boss
had
that doesn't
no
attack
like
the barricade will be the one to abuse that the
Yes.
most.
I think it's a good idea that after, I don't know, after a wave or 2 that, you no longer receive the protection. Maybe after 2 waves might be a good idea. That might be a bit difficult to explain to the players why they no longer receive it. But
That's
maybe even
fine.
after
They
just
shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So
I mean, it'll happen regardless.
So bosses do no longer receive their protection after 2 waves. So you'll get your first gas, that's fine, and then I think the
The
next
next one,
gas.
yeah, you won't get it
Yeah,
anymore.
the next wave. So you will be able to retreat if you didn't, play very well. You get another chance, but afterwards, you're not getting your protection anymore because we don't want Lich to stay alive the entire game. We'd rather just have humans, because it'll also encourage humans to leave the Cade and go hunt them, which is good. We want to encourage pushing out.
Especially since we got the multiple bosses later game now.
Yeah.
Even though it's been in the game for like months now, it definitely makes in the moment. And if we ever do like boss evolutions or something like that, then it will really help make the game feel like it's moving along.
Yeah. Okay. So I made a note for that. That's something that I'm going to look at implementing. Just disabling your gas after 2 waves. The next thing, which I've already done, so Nidus Worm to only spawn near humans. The problem with the Nidus Worm is that it would just spawn on very far end side of the map, and it would just slow the game. That's been fixed now. The Nidus Worm will now only try to spawn to just groups of humans. So it'll usually just spawn near the zombie gas early game because that's where all the humans are.
Go on.
So that should be okay. Then what's the other thing? Game rules. Yeah, okay. So I already covered the Nidus Worm game rule. So that's the only thing for that. But I guess we can ask, what do we think about the Nidus Worm then?
People really like the Dread Worm and like disproportionately show.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just a stronger Nidus Worm.
That's
It
why
is a
they
strong
liked
one.
it.
I thought people complained about the Nidus Worm being too strong.
Some people
Like,
thought that
good at defending itself.
it may have been a point save thing, but some people like the fact that the Dread Worm made tankier zombies. Maybe because they could get more damage in. It's hard to know the
Yeah.
motive behind their suggestion, but
Yeah, so the Dread Worm, any zombies that would spawn from it, they would turn into like a Dread version of themselves when you killed them. And that was a Halloween exclusive thing that I think then Frey kept for point save.
Okay, yeah, that's like a Halloween thing, but I mean, we
Yeah.
could look into having like unique worms, but it's hard to visually discern them from each other. So it's
Yeah.
probably something from another time.
Yeah.
We
I
want
think it's
visual
okay.
clarity.
Yeah. I
I
think
think
it's
that's
okay right now
okay.
that it just gives you a evolved zombie. You sort of get that, Dread Worm feeling with it anyways.
yeah, make the lava worm.
Love for summer.
The lava worm, it spawns
the cinder
fires,
worm.
fires. Yeah, cinder worm. It fires.
Makes all the zombies on fire.
Makes all the zombies on fire. Sometimes the thug comes out. You don't know.
Oh my god.
Oh, I like you thinking. So, yeah, I think Nidus Worm is pretty healthy for the game. I try to make it spawn a bit earlier in Wave 1 because sometimes zombies just need that. The next thing, Spring Shop. So, I am pretty much scrapping the Easter stuff and just combining it into just like a big
No.
spring seasonal thing. We're still going to have the Easter mode. We're still going to have Easter eggs. Hulk's still going to have his ears and other things. But it's just so that we can run the shop for a longer period of time, really, and just encourage a better variety of cosmetics. So I've received a lot of cosmetics that I'm going to try to get into the shop and release it. I don't know about tonight. Maybe tonight or tomorrow, and then the spring shop will just continue for like a month or two before we then start preparing for the summer shop.
So the spring shop, is that going to run from the equinox, the 21st, until whatever? Is it going to be all of April?
Yeah, it's going to run for all of April, and then we'll have a little break before we get into the summer one.
Zombie.
I don't think I'm going to be doing anything too exciting for the summer stuff. We do have this whole weather system now that I would like to make better use of during summer specifically because I
yeah.
wanted
Scorching
have-
sunlight.
Yeah, I wanted to have maybe we could have really bright sunlight, but like a sandstorm or like a firestorm where it just affects zombies or humans in a certain way. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But
You hear
not
that,
much else
Firestorm?
around. What?
I said, you hear that firestorm? We'll make a
Yeah,
firestorm.
we're gonna have the fires. Well, I want fire to rain from the sky. I think that'd be badass. But that's about it. What's next? Oh, Sunhud stuff that I've been doing. Yeah, I've slowly still working on that whenever I have some time. It's at this point, it's just a big hobby for me to just slowly convert the HUD. Anyone that's been using it or keeping tabs with what's happening, all the bottom stuff on the HUD, you can now move it around. Finally, you can scale it and everything. And the next thing that's going to happen is the top left stuff, which is like your score, points, brains, all that. That's going to be reworked soon. A lot of the Sunrust stuff is I think it's slowly turning into more of like, if you've seen how the new class selection or dark market looks like, it's like this sort of scan lines, digital, a little bit corrupt. We sort of found a better identity for what we want Sunhud to be, where it's not super clean and sanitized. It's got more of this, a little bit more of this, future digital, corrupt, gritty feel to it that I think some players appreciate. So, still working on it slowly, just my own hobby. I think the last thing that I was planning to do was have another Discord poll, like the one we had. I think it was early this year, where we just get people to just react to a bunch of things, stuff like how do you feel like the developers are communicating with players, just a bunch of those questions. I think that might be a good idea to have. What do you think, Scott? It's been a few months since we did one of those.
A poll, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. I did one for RTP, but most people are not very interested in that here.
Yeah. So I think in spring I'll look at trying to set up another one, just so we can gauge what people think. Those are helpful to know. So, okay. So that's all the stuff that I had planned to talk about. The last thing in my list, the next section, was like community requested topics. The first one being how developers gather data for buffs and nerfs.
Should we tell them?
I don't know. We look at complicated stats, and we have a lot of graphs, and no, that's not true.
We have a full-time statistician.
Yeah,
So-
it's called look at a weapon, play with it 1 round, buff it, and go to sleep. There you go.
Yeah, but Reox summarized it pretty well. In theory, it's using in-game playtime, watching gameplay, and we also do have data collection tools that we combine with all that.
We were thinking of internally making stat collection a lot more transparent to us. Like we do have ZS. Everything you do in ZS is recorded. Every purchase you make, everything you do in ZS, it's all being recorded. We know everything about you and your builds. The problem is, we don't know how to access that information. So
Yeah,
that's
it's difficult.
That's something that we're thinking of internally, is that we're having some sort of way to automatically compile that information and give us a summary, so you have a good idea on what's going on ZS, and how to, use it, basically.
Also, we probably won't make that info public.
Yeah, it'll be just for developers. We could do some,
Yes.
like, trivia. Maybe, like, weapon of the week. Zombie Drill Desert Eagle got purchased 2 times.
Yeah, like map stats are not public. Well, to a degree, you can kind of see you kind of can see the win rate of certain maps if you look in Discord, but otherwise, no, you can't. Or just the map will tell you if there's a difficulty mod.
Yeah. Okay, so what's next? I'm just having a look at AB's questions that he posted as well. I know we're about to reach the 1 hour mark where we sort of do go into community questions. So I'll just pick one of these, I guess, that we haven't really talked about.
What are the topics?
So KB posted a few of these in the ZS Spring podcast proposal. If you scroll down a bit, you'll see
I'm recording, so I can't tab over.
I think we already answered a lot of these just through our discussion. He's just talking about like dead skills and stuff.
We already talked about that.
I think the
Yeah.
community can fill in the gaps, so we can
Yeah.
start it a little bit early. It's,
Yeah, we could start 5 minutes early. We'll just let people talk, and they'll
Yeah.
ask.
Oh, okay. Here's a good one. So it falls under balancing again, and we did talk about it last time. But people want to know sort of who do we balance against, because there seems to be some belief that we only try to balance against the 1%, and by doing so we affect everyone else. But unfortunately, I think Scott did say this last time, that we sort of do have to also balance against the 1%.
We have to balance against potential,
Yes.
unfortunately, only because the potential is so the balance philosophy is if it's fun for one person and not fun for everybody else, then that's a problem. Like, and obviously, again, we have these people who abuse broken builds, and their only interest is really for themselves, and that's fine. That's understandable. Everybody wants to fulfill their own power fantasy, and we get it. But that can have negative effects on the gameplay. I think the most egregious example from like history was the drone. The drone was a big problem because all it would do is somebody would control a drone, load it up with a bunch of ammo, and then they would just scout out all the nests and start killing them, and the zombies couldn't touch the drone. So that overall is not fun for anybody involved. Like, it's not fun for the humans involved, and it's not fun for the zombies, but it's probably really fun for the person making everyone mad. Now, I'm sure that person had a great time making everyone upset. So that's something we definitely have to look out for.
See, the solution is to add melee drones.
I mean, that's essentially what they are. Manhacks got removed too. So manhacks were the melee drones, and those were equally annoying.
Yeah.
There are roller mines. They don't do shit. So yeah, no, but I haven't seen a roller mine in a long time, and they're still in the game. Nobody buys them. Yeah, there's drones. You don't really see drones, so those are kind of all like dead mechanics. Even turrets are kind of
I'll
dead.
just jump in right now because I remember someone was talking about how like a good revival arc for the drone might be to make them more support based. Like they could deploy, I know we just talked about buffing, but maybe they could deploy some sort of buffing or healing onto humans. So it's like, so instead of targeting zombies, it's targeting humans in a sense.
Yeah, like a support drone. Yeah, that'd probably be better off. I guess the problem with those types of things though is that they reduce the amount of risk, and we kind of want to avoid that. Like, we want people to take risks, and that's not really a risk. So that's the whole reason why we remove self-sufficient, because it doesn't incentivize you taking any risks in ZS, and when nobody takes risks, that leads to very boring gameplay. That's the whole like pushing out and everything getting drops. So the game plays a lot more fluidly when people take risks, go outside, and die. And yeah, maybe people get mad and say like they make a mistake, and it's like, oh, now we're outnumbered, and you should have stayed inside. It's like, okay, and it's more fun that way at least.
Kind of reminds me of something I heard like a really long time ago. It's like if every human on every map decided to abandon every sigil and just go to 1, they would have 100% win rate.
If every human stayed inside, like the highest win rates of any map that I noticed, like back in the day, were these maps, because I got rid of all these maps or fixed them. There used to be maps that would lock you inside with like unbreakable boards, only breakable to zombies, and nobody could leave. Those were the most boring ZS maps because they were free wins for the most part because nobody died. The healthiest gameplay is when people go to the zombie spawn camp, and a few people die. That's like the healthiest way ZS is meant to be played. So we don't want to discourage spawn camping.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, just one final thing about spawn camping. What are your thoughts on map spawns in general? Like, some maps have one spawn, some maps have spawns that open up after a while. Personally, I think that the best one is when maps have like one or two spawns wave one, and then open up more as waves go on.
That has to depend on map structure, I think. Like just the structure of a map. So that highly depends. I think maps can get away with one spawn. If it's all enclosed and there's multiple ways out of the zombie spawn or something like that, then it can get away with one spawn.
Okay.
So it's something you have to look at the map for.
Yeah, you can have one zombie spawn, but you can have things like bushes or just slide paths on the side where some zombies can just leak out, and I think that's a lot more interesting. If you have too many zombie spawns, it can get frustrating, I think. I really think that just comes down to how good the mapper is and just designing a good zombie spawn with zombie players in mind to make sure it's not the worst thing ever.
Anyway, it is past the 1 hour mark.
Yep.
You think we can take questions now?
Yeah, we could start bringing people on stage.
All right. Question guidelines. You get one question, and you can ask about Sunrust in general or zombie survival.
I'm just gonna get some water again. I'll be back in a minute.
Before we start bringing people in, I want to bring this up. As I was reading in chat, sigil protection isn't going anywhere. It has to stay. People will abuse the cheesy method of getting boss or killing AFK people, and that just should not happen. Zombies should not be at a sigil wave 1, cheesing boss or killing humans when they aren't ready to play the game for the most part. Like, I consider wave 1 still the warm-up time. So, yeah, sigil protection isn't going anywhere.
Oh yeah, to clarify questions, if you're brought up and you do not have a mic or don't prefer to use your mic, you can use the Spring QnA channel to ask your question.
Okay, epic. So, my question, could we implement a more, I guess, hefty quality control on the models that are implemented into the game? More so of the fact that some models, I'm not gonna, name anybody, add some in that have no voice packs at all, and then just have to deal with, the default Kleiner voice fucking pack.
That's just an accident. If somebody did that and added it and then didn't set the voice thing, but the default one is just the male or the female. If there's no voice lines for it, like, okay, I know like the quality is like a thing, but I mean, sometimes people are just okay with the default lines, I guess, as long as the model looks cool. The minimum that we have is C hands and the model itself.
Damn.
So,
Okay.
I mean, I would be nice to have the rat model have squeakies, but it still sounds like a man. So
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, we can use AI 11 Labs. Hop on that, and we can make
Oh,
voices
yeah.
for
oh yeah,
anyone.
that's off topic. But it would be nice if somebody's. I mean, I could probably get them, but someone could AI 11 Labs default Kleiner voice lines, please, because I really don't like hearing the Half-Life 1 Kleiner noises off cooldown. They're actually so annoying.
Yeah, fair. Can we also save gun skill tree? Oh my god, bro, please, it's
Yeah,
dying.
you're
You
done.
got one question,
You're
bro.
The hell?
Next.
The hell? I just got timed out.
Wait, what?
Huh?
I think he
who cares about
crashed.
that?
I got kicked out of cinema.
Rest in peace.
Guess you're not getting your rewards.
All right, next.
Wanted to ask, since a lot of like H team has changed, will like because there's a great shift. Like now the gameplay is like hybrid between roamers and caders. So I wanted to know, will Z team receive a complete makeover to one of because they are old, like they are so old. Like actually, the meta right now, wave 1, 2, 3 is fucking frigid goal every game, every time. It's so bad. It's so bad. So will they receive like any major change in the future?
Don't worry, summer update will fix all that. Then it'll be fire ghouls for the meta.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
think-
I'm aware of frigid ghouls being the meta for a while. Some of the things I did was I decreased the dark essence gain from frost because it was really lucrative. And the other thing as well is the projectiles, they no longer shatter you. That was another big problem. So it's only claws that shatter you. So they've sort of fallen off the meta a bit. They're still really good because they're just a good anti-melee class. But when you talk about old zombies and that, there's not really anything I'm planning to do with the zombies. Because like I said, I don't want to make the zombies stronger to deal with the humans, because then everyone suffers. I'd rather just make certain humans that are problematic, just, balance them, nerf them a bit. But I don't think the zombies need any major changes. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I guess.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for that. Get the next person.
Oh shit! Oops.
If they want to use text chat, bring them on stage anyway, so we have
Yeah, bring them on stage if they're trying to use tech chat.
they can
Oh, I
just
gotta
mute
look.
themselves.
Oh, oops. I gotta look at text chat.
Yo.
Yo.
Hello.
Alright, so my question is, what is the process of nerfing certain skills or weapons instantaneously without warning to the community or like players that use those certain weapons?
Process?
Yeah.
Yeah, we explained that already.
No, like, cause you like when you go into the update logs right after one night and you see, oh, that was nerfed without warning. Could there be like a warning beforehand or an update saying, hey, we're about to roll out this new update so people aren't just caught off guard or surprised?
Well, like an air raid siren?
Basically.
Okay, I don't know what you mean. I don't know. That's probably a little more work than just nerfing something that's a little strong.
But I mean, there's like one controversial update was the bandit sigil, but Antigen having removed the regen stacks on like when it gets procced and having Pooflet added to Brawler's Do. I think that is a good update, but with warning forehand, you might have softened the blow of all the criticism that came his way.
I think people are gonna be mad if something gets nerfed regardless. I'm gonna be honest.
But I mean, I'd rather someone have valid criticism than Pooflet always just get hated 24/7, you know? It's better on the dev's mental, and I don't want to see Pooflet just get hated 24/7.
I do.
Appreciate that. Oh,
Oh.
thanks.
That is
What do you mean?
toxic,
It's
but
entertainment.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
the thing is, again, I'm gonna explain this is like no matter who does it, even if we have warning, like things have to get nerfed. Like if something's overpowered, like yeah, we can let it settle, but like most people will want it nerfed instantaneously. So I don't know. That's just kind of like it's kind of a complicated thing to talk about.
It's nice to remember that if something gets over nerfed or over buffed or whatever, it's not the end of the the
Yeah.
end of the world. It's not like it won't be touched ever again.
Yeah,
it's
we
a
could just do
constant
whatever we
process.
want. Yeah, we could just buff it if it's really bad. Like people, it'll eventually get buffed.
okay. But I guess going forward, I could only suggest that you get more community feedback and just have the players try to dictate what gets buffed and nerfed.
Oh, we have.
Ultimately, you guys are the devs, so you have control at the end of the day what gets buffed or nerfed for the overall community's enjoyability. So yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely tried. But again, it's kind of hard. I don't think everybody is going to be happy about something getting buffed or nerfed. It's kind of hard to make everyone happy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I did try with listening to Wicked Blizzard and Revenge about most of the recent melee changes to just see what they think and just go through with that.
Okay.
So anything like any crazy changes, whatever, when it comes to melee or gunners, I'm usually just going to start involving people to see what they think, and then just start posting the update logs beforehand to just get more feedback and then release it. But there will still be cases where something will just get, nerfed out of the blue or whatever. Usually it's discussed in the dev channel, usually beforehand. But I agree we could be better at just communicating some of this stuff to just soften the blow. I think that's just a good idea. But there will be cases where we just can't avoid it. We just have to deal with it as soon as it becomes a problem.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I
does that
understand.
answer your question?
Moreover, I guess, but
All right.
yeah, I was just looking out for the devs because the amount of criticism and hate they get towards some updates is insane, and transparency is a big key in having a community thrive like this, and for the game to be successful as long as it is. But yeah, that answers my question.
That's all good. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. There, I'll start putting people out. Firestorm.
Okay.
Hey, did you invite? Oh my god.
I just did what you said. Oops.
Okay, request to speak, Triv. I appreciate your name. We're not buffing climbing claws, if that's your question. No buffing climbing claws. Whip.
All right. So like this is just a simple question. What do you guys think of the current state of cading?
Oh,
That's a big
that's
question.
yeah, that's a big question. Anything in specific?
Do you think you can narrow it down a
Yeah,
bit?
because like okay, so like I'm not a cater in particular, but like the way I've been seeing like cading as of late, and this isn't like just about like players if they're like good or bad caters, but it is specific is like I feel like when people replace their props, it doesn't replace fast enough. Like when a prop is like pretty much dead, and then the person is trying to replace it, and then like the next thing you know, that prop falls, and then with a prop that they're trying to nail down, it's just can't. It's not. I don't know what to call it. I think it's like prop phasing or whatever. Like it takes too long sometimes, and then it just like the whole cage just falls apart. And sometimes it's like we have two sigils, and then like it's kind of hard to call out one other sigil that's kind of like fucking up on like
Okay,
the
so you want
replacement process.
communication? You want better communication for cading, or you want things to be
Well,
replaced faster? Or?
yeah, I just think that replacing props faster would be much like a better solution because like it makes it harder to communicate.
Mm,
Like as to whether a sigil is going to like is it going to be saved by like a prop that's going to be able to save it, or is it just going to die because the prop is like too late to do it or whatever.
I think that was partially fixed with the link-up resistance. You're not going to just nail down a prop in straight away. It's just going to explode anymore. We have a system in place to prevent that from happening. Whereas the phasing stuff, I know there are certain situations where you're nailing down a prop, but because it's still in its phasing stage, a red marrow just walks in and that's it. I don't really know much about the prop phasing stuff, why we have it like that. I'm sure it's like that for a good reason. Maybe Scott knows more about it.
It would get bosses stuck. You can just nail stuff in bosses.
Yeah.
I'll put Triv in next. Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know. I think barricading is something that has to be a lot more carefully looked at if we're going to change the core dynamic of it, because it's such a core part of ZS right now, and the way it like plays.
I think as zombie power gets adjusted, the mass wall of zombies that attack the Cade will also be. Cades will be able to survive.
Yeah,
longer.
It's a bit less stressful now to having to replace props because they're not going to break as fast. I think that's just a good change.
Yeah,
I hope.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Sorry.
whoever like a cater that's listening on this, can you like come in and just chime in for me? Yeah. Okay, that's it. I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you for your
Thank
question.
you.
All right, Triv, what was your actual question? Because your name seems like it's just to troll. All right, you can come in, and I invited you. I'm gonna give you 20 seconds to join.
Oh boy.
It seems like he's having trouble coming in. Maybe you should just ask in text later. Or yeah, wait. Are you talking in text? I type it out. I feel bad. I kicked him out. I can't. He's not coming in.
I kind of accept the invite, but then you just boot him off.
Well, he's not coming in.
I think we're done with that.
Yeah. All right. We have to move it along. I'm
Yeah, you're
sorry.
gonna have to catch us.
You have to wait. You have to wait. All right. Next, Kizo.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. My question's pretty simple. You know how Frost does arm damage? Are we ever gonna remove that? It's kind of like awful to deal with, and it kind of sucks.
Good question. So for people that don't know, there was this thing that people thought where if you just have one stack of frost, it felt like you had 30 or 40 stacks, because most projectiles or just claws that give you frost, they also gives you arm damage. And I don't know. I think I'd have to see what Scott thinks about that. I don't mind removing it because I think frost does a good enough job. But then
Arm damage
it
is
is there
ranked
for a
melee.
reason as well, to fight against, we have frost zombies good against melee players. I don't know.
I mean, well, the arm slow is for melee. That's about it.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, it kind of fits in with the theme that Frost is the anti-melee and Shadow is also kind of like the anti-melee,
Yeah.
and then Gonk is the anti-gun. So maybe
Yeah,
there's
I
like a
think-
better way to do it. Maybe like
Yeah,
a debuff, but that's like again more debuff. So I don't really want to touch
Or
something
we
like
could
that
just,
yet.
we could remove the arm slow, but then just make it so the frost stacks, they give you a bit more slow per stack. I think that's the only way we could go about it. So you don't have that initial annoying thing, but if you do get
Make
more
it scale properly for sure.
we
Do
just
not
increase
have it like. I mean, don't have it like scaling to the point where you can't swing anymore. That's for sure.
Yeah,
That would have to be
so-
done carefully.
Yeah, so I'm fine with removing arm damage, I guess, in general. But then just slowly, just a little bit, just buff up the frost penalty from the stacks for the swing to compensate. I think that'd be okay, but not to a point where it takes like 3 or 4 seconds to swing your weapon.
No,
So
we're not gonna do
I'll
that.
make a note of that, and I'll try to be sensible when I do that change.
All right, fair enough. That's my question.
the
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, KB. KB. Okay, gotcha.
Testing, testing. Can you hear me?
All right, one question this time, by
Yeah.
the way.
Okay, got it. This one's directed towards Pufflet and Scott mainly, and I know this is towards Phantom Health, but what do you think overall as a concept, has it succeeded or failed, and why are you against the hybridization of Phantom Health and things like Blood Armor? Because I remember Bucket was speaking about this, and that you were against Phantom Health and Blood Armor being used in tandem with one another. Why is there an issue, and what do you believe? Do you believe that the purity of each style should be maintained?
I could answer that. So the initial thing was that Blood Armor was really polarizing. The whole melee dynamic was based on melee. I mean, I still would have liked it as melee. Melee does feel a bit bland with just Blood Armor, but Phantom Health was supposed to be like burst sustain. Blood Armor was supposed to be like a buffer, and then we would have like raw health and regen as another playstyle melee. But I guess it proved too difficult to have all of them work harmoniously. So
I think
we're
as
kind of
well.
like scrapping that idea, I guess. I guess the developers are more in favor of scrapping the idea of Phantom Health as a skill set and just making it like a trinket build instead.
Because there seems to be like, especially with Bucket and Pufflet, there seems to be like a tug of war. And especially with Bucket, even though I wish he was here so I could ask him, because he feels like he's having like there are two wolves inside of you: remove Phantom Health or keep it, and it's becoming flip floppy. And a lot of the times, people, especially those who just play the game and don't go into Discord, are just like, what the hell is going on with my skill tree? And there's like little to none transparency. So I feel like having something like an update log as well in game would be nice, because there seems to be, especially for those who
That's
don't actively
planned.
check the Discord,
That's planned.
it's yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Alright, that's great.
Don't worry about that. But yeah,
Alright,
as for your
because
melee
it's just
question,
yeah.
I did want those, but again, it's probably proving too difficult, and it's not good
Okay.
for the game's health overall, and the
Actually,
direction we want to take
speaking of
balance.
which, I always hear these two terminologies being brought up: player health versus game health. Wouldn't the player health be tied to the game health, or do you see them as two separate entities?
have
Because
a
I
clause
What do
always
you
in
hear
there
mean?
you
that
guys.
Wait, what does that mean? You mean player
'Cause-
health?
Yeah, because you're always like, I care about the game health or the player health, and it seems like
What?
you guys put them as two different things.
No, not at all. You mean like
Okay.
the what does that mean? The health, like the contentness of like playing the game?
Yeah, the contentness of the
Okay.
contentness of the players versus the state of the game.
No, the way I'm describing it maybe is not that great, but the game health like should directly affect like the contentness of the players. Like I don't know how to convey that without making it sound like we don't care about the players. That's not true. I'm always in favor of the players. It's definitely maybe like a wording thing. I mean, I'll buff things and nerf things if people are really upset about it within reason. So
All right.
It's,
Like,
thank you.
utilitarian.
yeah,
Wow.
I don't know. I do care. I probably do care more about like if players are angry. So
Yeah. Thank you.
All
I
right,
think more of the devs do.
Thank you so much, guys. All right,
Thank
I'll
you
leave
for the
I'll leave the
question.
space now.
Well, thank you for
count
the
that as
question.
one question because they both had health in the question.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Next.
All right, Abe.
All right, hi.
Hi.
Hello, Abe.
This is not a joke question. Would you consider now, considering the state of how powerful Zombie Team is, removing super zombies and just leaving the kill gas as the anti-stall?
Why?
I could argue for it, but I want to put that question out first.
I'm not considering it, but why?
Because I think it's still valuable having better skilled players have their last shot at a victory. Because if it's wave 6 and there's only 1 minute left, I don't think that's such a terrible thing to let them try to have their go at it. Especially because there's probably at least 100 zombies chasing them down and violators and all that shit and anchor spam. It's too much. Like, they would probably die quickly anyway. I think super zombies are overkill.
Well, don't really want to drag the game out past that, because I mean, if you aren't at the sigil at that point, it should be very, very difficult for you to win. So I guess not really going to consider it right now. Maybe making the super zombies spawn at the last 30 seconds instead of 45, maybe. But I don't know. Not really considering something like that. I'm not a fan personally of people stalling out the game in any sort of capacity. I was one of the biggest proponents of anti-stall. So maybe their last shot of victory, like they're roaming outside, and honestly, like they should have a very, very difficult time to win if they were outside past that. Like if they didn't plan ahead and they can't get to a sigil in 45 seconds, then I don't know. Or even before that, like the wave 6 about to end, then maybe you should just get inside.
We had a lot of issues back when solo winning was like a really sought after thing for certain cosmetics and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not really too big of a fan of doing that again. So that's my reasoning why I wouldn't touch that right now.
Okay, that's it.
Well,
That
thank
kinda
you for
reminds
that.
me, Pooflet, didn't you want to revamp the super zombie design?
Did I?
Did you?
Not
I think
that
you
I'm
said
aware
that
of.
you didn't like them being just green humans.
I didn't like them that they look like Fresh Dead, I guess. It would
Yeah.
have been nice to make them actually scary looking. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But it would be cool, though.
Alright, Shiny Shark. Father, you asked a question already. You can ask again in the lightning round.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm a newer player on Sunrust Zombie Survival. I used to play a lot of Zombie Survival back in like 2013. And back then the game mode was like a lot smaller.
Yeah, I
There were
think
a
I
lot-
remember you.
Yeah, maybe you did. But there were a lot like there were way fewer items. And when I joined now, I was really overwhelmed by all the items there were. And I don't know, I can't really imagine that most of them are used very often. So my question was, are there any plans to like poll removing some items that you know are unused?
Okay, I can answer that. Yeah. So no, because people will get angry about their maybe favorite item being removed or just like a certain build path being removed. Like, yeah, it is a little overwhelming, but I think removing content, like just like how like some other games, like I don't know, for example, like Fortnite rotates items out from their pool. I don't really think that fits in a game like ZS, even if it is overwhelming to first look at. But I mean, I kind of did have ideas. We do have that other side server, Chaos ZS, where maybe like random modifiers of like weapons might happen, or maybe like a weapon will be on sale, or something random will happen to a weapon. Or you could like even have weapons. Like I was talking about a dev thing, or between like the remantler. So like you can remantle and spend scrap to randomly mod your weapon, and lower tier weapons maybe have better mods than higher tier weapons. So or individual weapon types will have individual mods. So that could be one thing we could do. So we'll probably like it'll be way further down the line, but do want to look at better weapon variety and that everything will be used.
Yeah, I do understand the concern for feeling overwhelmed when you
Yeah.
first start the game to like there's so much content, even in the shop, there's just a lot to take in.
I mean,
Yeah,
I,
that's
I,
definitely-
I understand it. I think it's cool, having all the items, and it's definitely a scenario where you kept adding items and the player base already kind of knew everything there was. So for them, it was just learning a new thing each time. So I understand why you wouldn't remove it. It's not like I'm upset over it. It's just
Yeah, I can
concern
understand
for it.
overwhelming. Yeah, I understand. It is overwhelming, especially if you're like brand new. But I mean, you could also argue that's like part of the exploring the game. So
Mhm.
I'm hesitant to remove things. So that's like a complicated thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could
fair
definitely
enough.
improve the shop UI and stuff.
Yeah, try like a UI thing.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
that's way of dealing. Yeah, but
Thank
thank you
you.
for the question.
Yeah, thank you. It's a valid concern. Nice, Sumero. Sorry, I butchered your name. Sumi. I'm just gonna call you Sumi.
Oh, well, we have to read.
Okay, yeah, I'll read it. Okay. What are your thoughts on chefs' current power strength in terms of their skill tree, weapons, but especially their bounties? In my opinion, exotic cookbook is a requirement to make chef work, and thus always takes up a bounty slot. And little corn is a meme. Food cooking speed is also fairly slow with exotic cookbooks. Heavy nerf. Okay. I don't really have any opinions on chef stuff. Does anyone here have opinions on chef
Yeah,
stuff?
I got a thought.
Yeah.
So chef really seems like a sort of like a. It seems like so chef like food was originally like a really small thing in ZS. Like it feels like Jetboom kind of just added it because it was in the corner and like it was like, oh, you can heal yourself for 15 HP, so a medic doesn't have to. And it kind of like blew up into its own thing. But I don't think it really got the attention it deserves. I think it actually needs a fundamental rework before we can like dive in on some of the stuff that chefs have. So, of course, I'm thinking that when we bring up the lunchbox to make chef maining a little bit more streamlined, we can add skills related to that, and it'll be a lot easier to, evaluate, what direction chefs should go in and whether or not how they buff things
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, keep in mind that spread feast and all that was extremely strong, and you were able to share buffs and stuff. Like that was all like toned down or taken out. And again, Master Chef, like what originally was every few kills, or you would randomly get like food. So yeah, it was like a supplementary thing turned into like a play style that never really found its niche. That was like balanced or healthy for the game. Because again, this is like something that spread or scales with population. Spread Feast had a problem where the more players, the more value you got out of it. So I think that's why fine dining was introduced. I'm not sure. Spread Feast is still there, right?
Yeah, everything's still there. There's actually
yeah.
there's actually an interaction with Chef Skills that's basically free, but yeah, it just goes to show how underdeveloped it is.
I think just Spread Feast was always like 3 points for me. So like food healing matters so little. So yeah, that's like that would probably require a fundamental rework, which would probably come later down the line.
Next Q&A, the lunchbox should be like a concept. So
Yeah. So yeah, that comes later. It's not forgotten. It is, I guess, time would tell. Thank you for that question. Okay, next, Monkey Andrew.
Oh god.
deep breaths.
Monkey, you here? 20 seconds.
Monkey undo. Come on now.
All right, so I'm just gonna say this now. If you're not if we invite you to the stage and you're not like there in like 20, 30 seconds, and we're just moving on. Okay. Sorry, Monkey.
Wait, he's typing.
Oh, he's typing. Oh, okay. You didn't join the channel though. Join the channel. I'll read it out. All right. Can you add sigil pulse grenade as a replacement to singularity?
Pulse grenade.
I think he means the sigil pulse. Like it'll force people back to the zombie spawn.
Oh, that
Oh my
sounds.
god.
Honestly, I mean, like, is that really that bad of an idea?
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
it might be a little strong though.
It would be very strong.
Annoying.
Maybe just,
Let's give
you know.
Point Save it for like a month.
Maybe it is an experiment. Honestly, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
But
I think it's
it's
bound to happen.
I mean, I could see it being kind of useless. Like they'll probably just suicide and respawn on their nest. I guess it's annoying, so I'd have to kill nest too.
Make it an active
So,
trinket where you can send the zombie right in front of you back to spawn.
I mean, maybe it could disable the nest, but like, I don't know. That seems a little. Now thinking about it, it's an interesting idea, but like how they'll just suicide and go on their nest if it's not disabled, and even then it'll slow down the game.
Yeah.
So not too sure about that one, honestly. It's a cool idea though. All right. Thank you for that question. Next.
Thank you for that question.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Monkey. Griffith.
Oh, question. Like, is there any chance that more RNG weapons, let's say for bounty or megas, will be added? Like, there was one, like a minigun that made you extremely mobile, etc. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. RNG weapons. I guess that'd be up to whoever makes weapons. Proof
Yeah.
of magic.
Is there any more chance that like more will be added? Because let's say powerful weapons, you know, that you can't just buy, that you have to have a chance of getting.
You mean like
Oh,
mega
like
weapons?
that minigun, like the striker minigun.
Oh, the striker minigun. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So stuff you only get from supply drops.
I don't know.
So you can't really make a build on it, but you come across it and you're just like, you know, holy shit, I got lucky this game. I'm gonna have to try to at least make what I have, rotate around that, or skip it.
It's kind of why the supply drop weapons got added to main in the form of bonus crates. In that it's nice to come across a weapon, even if 60% of people will just grab it instantly. I guess it could be like if someone makes a weapon and they're like, you know, this is really good, but I don't really see it being added to the shop. They could probably add it as like supply drop only. It's not really something that we really think about.
There was one for the Mega, and it was like the Striker. I got it one game. I guess I got lucky, and it pretty much made me able to fly just by shooting at the ground.
The Wicked Boomstick?
No, it's like a minigun, but
Minigun.
recharging ammo, and I was able just to kind of fly around the map for one game until I died. It's cool thing to have. I mean, didn't know I was going to get it, but just
I think Frey has plans to change Mega stuff on main and make it for main, but I'm not sure. He hasn't talked about it much.
The weapon Griffith is referring to is called the Paralyzer, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, Paralyzer.
had it one game and it's just awesome to have, just randomly. I mean, it made the game just extremely fun.
Oh, Frey's here. Hi, Frey.
I did want to mention one thing before the next question.
Oh, you're not answering.
Is my mic working?
Yeah, it's working.
All right, so I wanted to eventually kind of port the megas I made on main, but the way they work is that they can be obtained from like linking rifts. So you don't have like a reliable way to farm them like bounties have with the bounty weapons, etc. So maybe at some point I'm gonna do that, but for now I'm probably gonna
Okay. Yeah, that would be it for like supply stuff. It's kind of just something we just do randomly. Thank you for that question.
Yep. Have a good one, y'all.
You too. Alright, DJ, even though you can just join.
Hey, when's the next DSR testing?
Okay. Zombie Remantled Magic would know. I think he said that it was on a little bit of hiatus for now, but it'll come back. You'd have to ask the other people. I mean, you can just ask in the channel. I think there's an answer in the channel.
I did. I asked one of the dev IRL in real life. They didn't say they know either.
Oh, okay. Well, Magic seems to be AFK, but
No, I'm here. I'm just
oh,
listening.
okay. Oh, okay. I get it.
Can you answer that question?
Yeah, I think towards April we'll have a final playtest announced.
Fuck, that's Warrior.
Okay, thank you. Unless you're gonna hang out. Okay, he's not. Bye. Alright, Reaper.
Yo.
Hi.
Alright, so I have a few questions. Some were vague, but one.
Well, just one.
Alright. So I want to add to the cading situation, right?
Okay.
So, yeah, so one guy I remember mentioning like trouble replacing props or whatever while cading. And, well, one thing that came to mind is like, you know how we have bots for zombies? Like, that's a staple on both servers.
You want cading bots?
I think it could be a good idea if you know how to do it. Like,
Well, they can cade. That's the thing. The bots can cade, but we don't really want them to.
Well,
yeah, just make a general AI.
Well,
cater-
we have them.
Some cater is better than no cater.
Well, the thing is that there's no in between for this. Either we make them barricade at the start, which is crazy. You could see them; they like basically instantly cade. And I mean, yeah, they copied the cade that was there previously. Like how it works is, the bot will cade. It'll like save the cade from previous rounds and then remake it for that round.
We can make.
Yeah, but like imagine if one guy decided to shitpile that place and it's gonna copy that.
It doesn't
cade or
save.
something.
No, it wouldn't work because it saves it later.
It looks at
like later
caves
in the
too,
game.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Also,
Maybe there could be a list.
I think that. What about bot repairers?
Bot repairs. Well, do we really want bots to do that?
I
I mean, yeah, we could.
I'm pretty sure we don't.
We should test it on point save.
Yeah, just put it on point safe round.
Okay, I'm just gonna give my opinion on it. I don't think we should have bots for anything other than zombie because, like, I mean, make medic.
Well, then
We
what are
can
you
make
supposed to
medic
do
bots
for-
or cading bots, huh?
What are you supposed to do for low pop then? Because like
Mm,
with bots, like sure it works on both high and low pop because it fills this role of zombies and everybody gets to play as human. But when you're on low pop, there are usually only newish players or inexperienced players. I myself, like, I can somewhat cade or repair, but I'm not like a professional, you know, like others are. So
I don't know. Like that's a really complicated thing.
like I know it's complicated. Like there will probably be some work need to be put into it, but I mean some
My
people
okay.
I have,
My thing is yeah. What was it?
My 2 cents is that low pop already modifies the game mode where we get less sigils to cade, less sigils to worry about, and stuff is like a lot of stuff gets disabled in the low pop, so I don't really think it's that huge of an issue.
Well, I mean,
I think that the top priority in giving bots more things to do is going to be bot nests, and that's going to be
that's
basically on
another
the table.
That's another thing.
Well, that thing is good talked about, so
yeah, but I'm like even if it's set for main for that, I'm also talking about point saver. So or point
Okay,
save.
you're asking more about point save. Okay, yeah, no, I've definitely played point save, and Frey has played a lot of point save, and both of us know that when there's low pop on point save, they just like they run around like headless chickens and they die instantly. I think that's a point save thing because point save is just balanced a lot differently, and the players are awful. My thing for point save is I don't know why they don't buy Aegis. It's in the supply crate. I was thinking about putting Aegis back in the shop, but I don't really like that it's just like a required buy. So I never really did. I just like the prop transponder.
Well, I mean, Aegis can only last so long, right?
Maybe what you could do is have a deployable Cade on point save only. Just have like a deployable.
That's why
just a Cade.
I was about to
Troop
say
has a
that.
model
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Troop has a model for that, so you know if you want it,
Yeah.
we have it.
All right. Well, there you go. A deployable Cade on point save
I
only.
mean,
Hell
wait,
yeah.
wait. Points already has that. They have concrete barriers, dude.
Concrete
No,
barrier
that's
is
just
useless.
me. Yeah, that
But
doesn't do shit.
that's only one thing, and it's expensive as hell. Who's gonna
Yeah,
buy
no, it's a meme. No, that shit's
Why
a
does it
meme.
matter,
If you-
dude? You have so
honestly,
many points to use. You have
if
so
you're
many
talking,
points. Why does it matter?
no, if you're talking, no, the concrete barrier is a troll thing that Tori did. No, if you want a deployable Cade, honestly, I think point save would benefit from that.
Yeah, and you know what you could do, right? You could put it in like tiers, right? So early game, it would be
Okay.
like made out of wood, you know, made out of wood. And stuff. And
That
then
might be going too far.
I think we're
Yeah.
good. Well, you gave us plenty to think about.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's
Maybe
leave
too
it at-
much.
Let's
Yeah.
just leave it at deployable K.
Well, all right, deployable K for point save. There you go. Well, thank you for that question.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Before
Oh shit, I cut him off. I'm so sorry.
Wait.
Next.
All right, next. I'm so sorry.
Wait. Scott, before you
Uh-huh.
add someone else, I want to ask a question to Magic
Okay.
specifically. Because in the past, I kind of had a talk with him about this topic, and I want to ask him again. Magic, do you plan to work on system for nests? Like, for example, if let's say on main, no one is nesting, and like, they're essentially there's no one making nests. Do you plan on like making a system where
No bots to
if
make
they
nests.
die, if let's say bots die in a specific let's say place, the nest does spawn there.
I'm just gonna say I
Yeah, we had
I
that.
do plan on working on something like that. Wait, what? We do?
Oh no, we were planning on that. I mean.
Yeah, we were planning on that, but the mechanism is just gonna be whatever is like best. Like we don't know if a bot's gonna walk over as a flesh creeper and build the nest, or if a nest's just gonna spawn, or if it's gonna be a bot only spawn. But it'll be whatever is most practical, and it is planned. So that's all I'll say. It would be
Yeah,
cool.
because
It would be cool if
I
they just
remember.
went flesh creeper, and it didn't like cheat. But whatever.
All right.
We'll have to see.
Okay, next person. I'm all right. I'm gonna try Triv one more time. If you don't join in
No, Triv,
15
Triv
seconds.
had a message. Triv sent his
Okay,
question.
okay. I'm gonna. All right, where is it?
It's in pinned, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they pinned it.
Okay. Okay. What is the developer's perspective on reacting and responding to unorthodox playstyles? Okay, like roaming. Is it a? Yeah, I think we talked about that
Yeah,
already.
we went over that.
We went over that. We went over that already.
We didn't talk about boomsticks.
We'll value
Well-
the more players over like one player.
Yeah, we value that. We value the fun of everybody over, and then as far as boomsticks goes, I have my
Hello?
opinion on boomstick. Hi.
Oh, he's here.
Hello?
You here? You here? Okay.
Oh my
I
goodness.
read your.
My apologies.
That's okay. Well, I read your question, and again, I'm giving my honest opinion on boomsticks. I don't really like the fact that boomsticks are super mobile. I know that people like them, and they do have a place in the game. So I haven't really had a strong opinion to change them yet. So
May I ask a question to follow up with that then?
okay, go
Or
ahead.
to expand upon that.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned earlier talking about spirit essence, and I guess that
Mhm.
mentality of like it becoming a must buy because, well, for one, it's one of the only sources acquirable for just straight up movement speed.
Yeah.
It's almost equal perfectly remantled to Bloody Lungs, which is
Yep.
active all the time. What would you guys consider like interesting movement then? Because I know I've been making a meme of climbing claws, but like tools like dark arts or stuff that requires mechanical skill to navigate
Yes.
through hordes of zombies. What do you guys consider healthy? What do you guys consider just
Dashes. Telegraph, maybe it's hard to do in ZS, but maybe like a telegraph teleport. Think about like Reaper and Overwatch, something like that. Maybe a maybe a grapple hook, but you have to consider that mobility, zombies are not mobile, and having a lot of mobility in a game like ZS has to be done carefully.
Yeah.
Because there aren't a lot of counters to it for zombies, and even just boomsticks and buying ammo everywhere, that's like a problem in itself because you can just get away from a big horde, and the only person who can follow you is like a fast zombie, and the fast zombie can't do much to somebody, and we don't want the fast zombies to do a lot to somebody who has like a big melee build. So yeah, so that's again complicated and has to be done carefully.
You said something about dashes and telegraphed. Are you guys on the fence about touching Warrior's Rune? Because it's been the hottest topic as far as just this is a get out of jail free card, but this is also a melee mobility tool. It's
I
literally
think
the
that was
dash.
nerfed already, right?
It's been
Just
nerfed
Gladius.
twice.
Gladius's innate, the Gladius innate uptime for every remantled was lowered in seconds, I believe, at half for every rank. But I do not believe that the bounty trinket was used. And the bounty trinket can be used by gun builds, and it has this weird property where if you're holding out a bounty weapon, you actually get on-hit progress while dashing. Or it applies the on-hit effects, such as the Marasma's repost bonus.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a get out of jail free that recharges every, I don't know what's now, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, something. Yeah, it's a very powerful bounty. I don't know yet. It might need a bit nerfing, maybe. I don't know.
I think there is an unintended interaction because if you're knocked down, you can still use it and
that's a bug. Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you guys see the clip of me getting shit slapped and then just dashing mid knockdown animation?
Yeah, no, that's not intended. That's not intended. That has to be changed. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching the Warriors Rune, and I'll just make appropriate changes where I think, because it's a super good bounty to just escaping. But I'll take a look at that bug as well. It's a priority.
Yeah, it does seem to work specifically with the bounty, not with the weapon.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for
the question.
Yeah, no, thanks
thank
for
you
having
for
me.
the
I'm glad I
question.
finally got in.
Well, thank you very much for
Are you
that.
on mobile?
Yeah, so I was driving, and I was doing.
I am here.
He's on mobile. Yes, he's on mobile.
Yes or no?
Okay. Okay, Father, you asked the question. Just ask it in the lightning round. We'll do a lightning round after. Monkey.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh,
Yo,
that
why
one.
is it an oh god?
What the hell?
God, no.
Bro, I was just gonna ask a real question. It's an oh god? Are you kidding me? Yo, what's so funny?
What's your question,
What are
Monkey?
offensive bounties getting buffed? Overclocker and shit, too heavily tier scaled. They're all shit. Like, buff them. They're all useless. It's entire sections, just they're shit. Buff them already. They're cosmetic, bro. Like, plus 6% build up on a tier 6. Yeah, that's really good. I'm definitely gonna buy that over, like, anything else.
Better than nothing.
I'm
right?
taking unstable isotope over that shit. Actually, some of the worst bounties ever, bro.
Kind
Uh,
of
I'm so
Okay.
mad that that was an oh god because I joined. That shit is fucked up. What's so funny, buddy?
You're funny.
Nah, that's fucked up. Give me advisor right now. It's my birthday in like a week.
So I think your concern revolves around offensive bounties being a bit too weak.
They're like, all of them are shit. Flexstone too. They're pretty bad.
I don't know.
I mean,
Also,
overclock
why
for
do
6%
like
is a
higher
little
tier
weak.
zombies still do like extra blood armor damage? It's kind of stupid.
Normal zombies?
No, like
Or you mean
demis and higher and stuff. Like it makes Iron Blood
No.
unusable and
Well,
shit.
Well, I mean, it's the like I said, it's just like they should struggle against melee main should struggle against higher tier zombies. That's all it is. If it's too
I
much,
just think
then
maybe like Iron Blood should get like resistance to that. Because it kind of makes it unusable to use Iron Blood. You just get hit by any demi and you lose all your blood armor.
demis maybe can be toned down a little bit, but bosses no.
Alright. I mean, yeah, I get like you get hit by a big ghoul, you're not really meant to tank it. But like demis, it kind of just makes no sense. They're so like easy
Demis
to
are
get. They're so
spammable, I
cheap.
know. Yeah, those should be looked at more carefully.
Yeah, I could take a look at that.
As for overclocker, 6%, maybe a little too low. Maybe it could just
I
be a
think
little
it's
more.
kind of a boring trinket. I don't
Yeah.
like bounties that just give you just this passive DPS increase. I think that's kind of boring.
Yeah, maybe we move away from unconditional stat boosts, like again, like Spirit Essence type shit.
I think it's better to have conditional trinkets like that. More interesting.
Well, thank you for the questions anyway, Monkey.
Yeah, it's still
Give you
fucked
question.
up that it was an
Yeah,
oh god.
I
No, it's
agree.
fucked up 2
I
times in a
agree.
row, 2 times in a row. No,
Yeah, I
that's
got
fucked
two
up.
times.
Out of here.
Yeah, get his ass out of here.
It's okay. I love you, Monkey.
Yo, shut up, Devo. I carried you.
I mess swag. Mess swag. You got 20 seconds to get here unless you're typing. Did you ping me?
It'll tell us if he's typing.
Is he here?
Yeah, he's typing now.
Okay. Oh, Bucket's here.
Why?
He's just listening.
Yeah, he's just listening. All right. Well, we can come back to you. Type out your question, and then we'll come back to you.
Me
If you're
just-
gonna type it out already. Who else? Because I want to do a lightning round.
Yeah, got about 6 minutes left, I think, before we hit the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, we'll do a 10-minute
we gotta
lightning
sit down
round.
with this for 2 hours? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Owner.
I just
Owner.
woke up like 5 minutes ago.
Yo.
Thanks, Steve.
Hi.
Hello.
It's gonna talk about medic.
Hell no. No. I'm about to flip the script. Okay. Where are the Tacos buffs? We've
Techios?
been waiting for over a year.
Did you say tacos? Oh,
Tacos.
tacos.
Techios, I think he meant.
No. He means the tier 5.
The tier
the
5
variant
Apostle
number.
for right. The Tacos for AR. Where the
Oh.
fuck are they?
That was the widest way to say tacos. Tacos. But...
Dude, you say the name of a BO3 character right now.
Takio?
All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you want to buff that? I guess we'll take note of it. I don't even
Isn't
know what
that-
that is.
Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. All right, Fragger.
Yo, hey, what's up,
Hi.
guys? Right, so I'm not sure how thoroughly this was discussed, but like, will there be a work for like mechanics and sports skills? Because like turrets have been completely fallen out of use due to their overheat mechanic. They fire like 12 shots, then they overheat for like 10 seconds. This wouldn't be so bad if I didn't have to switch to my wrench, stop DPSing, and then lower the heat after hitting it 3 times. And I understand like you guys don't want like people just buying like a million turrets and placing them in front of Cades and getting free DPS like back in the old days, but it's just so horrible. And like it's a dead mechanic. Like I get a turret and it's like, oh great, this literally would be worth more to scrap if I could, than to actually place it. It's just that it's terribly inefficient. I don't see anybody using turrets or any of like many of the mechanic skills. I'm just wondering if you guys are going to do a whole rework on that and just by itself.
Eventually, maybe. I agree. Turrets are dead, but it's like an old concept. I think it's like a Jepum era concept. All the deployables that are like that. I don't know. I think right now they have to stay the way they are because making them like higher tier turrets, and you don't want to like
I mean,
you want to
like-
build centered around them. You don't want them to just be added on DPS like zappers.
Well,
and
yeah,
stuff
like
like
I
that.
want to do that, but it's just like I place a turret down even with like the scanning skills or whatever. It's just like, oh, they'll do like three, they'll get 3 hits in and melees instantly get
Like I
kills
said,
and
it's like they're an old concept. I don't know what their place is in the game anymore.
I mean,
I guess
I
if
don't
we
know.
did want to buff them, we'd have to make them specifically so the buffs only happen
Like-
controlling the turret.
Yeah, for example, like half the time it takes to overheat or something. Like that's just it's the overheating is absolutely insane. It's like it affects turrets way too much. Overheat is
It's
just a terrible
intentional.
mechanic.
It's intentional. No, it's intentional so that you don't just put them down and you forget about them. You're supposed to take the wrench and like make a build around it. But again, old concept. They'll probably have to be reworked or maybe
like
just completely
I mean,
canned one day.
If we could get like a
I see
trinket
that
or
you can
two.
kinda you can mitigate the heat with the wrench if you use it on the turret.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, like
those of you who are in your banished lore, when the banished sigil first, not the banished sigil, the
If we could get like
banished update,
weapons,
when it first came
and-
out, there's actually a reworked turtle.
A turtle.
There's a turret where you can
Nice
manually
one.
record. You can manually
Fucking
control
idiot.
it. You manually
Yeah.
controlled the turret. You like mounted it as like a Half-Life 2 emplacement turret. I think that would be like a pretty good way to bring turrets from the grave. Would be to add some sort of like reworked manual control for them. But
Well, yeah. I mean, also some small things that can be like added is like trinkets and like just skills. Like for example, we have the smithing hammer for carpenter's hammer, right? Like that's that adjacent. If we had some kind of like wrench equivalent for that, that wouldn't be so bad. Maybe some trinkets or like, oh, your heat is like reduced by half or whatever. You upgrade that. That wouldn't be so bad.
Okay.
Definitely could look into some upgrades if you're controlling them
Yeah,
specifically to avoid the place turret and forget extra.
Yo, yeah, absolutely. I would totally be happy as long as there's just like more tools and like equipment for them, just in general.
Okay, I make a
Like a
note for
big wrench or
turrets.
something. I don't know, dude.
Alright,
You
well,
can just
yeah,
size up the
we'll definitely
wrench.
make it. We'll make a note for turrets. Well, thank you for the
Alright.
question anyway.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you.
No worries.
Magic leak the next deployable.
Okay, Mesweg asks, I know the majority of people don't like point saving. It's usually a testing ground, but some people genuinely like point save. All right, so you're asking if somebody will balance point save again. I don't know, but that's up to Frey, and
DJ
again, that
Wicked.
caused a lot of problems. You're talking about the Ice Devil and Banished
he's talking
Warrior, then
specifically
maybe
to
you could just, I don't know, some of the classes on point save that are zombie specific maybe could just be removed, or I don't know,
Yeah,
something
I
like
agree.
that.
I agree. I can just do that.
You could probably just remove some of the ones that were overtuned or just nerf them really hard.
Yeah.
They might just be like, they were just like filler concepts, so.
Are you talking about the Demiboss evolutions or just other ones?
No, he's talking about Banished Warrior.
Okay.
And an Ice Devil, which, both of them are not meant to actually be played.
Yeah, they're very powerful if you can actually, fix the Winter's Curse. That's why they're winter only.
Okay, well, yeah. So that's his question. I'll take one more and then we'll do lightning round. One more. Who is it?
There's another question in pins. You can do that one.
that was wait.
We already did that.
We already got pinned again.
No, Trixie. We didn't. That's Trixie's question.
That's Trixie.
All right, we'll do downloads and Scrungus. We'll do 2 more. Make them somewhat quick. And Father, you asked a question. You keep coming back. All right, downloads. Did you ask something already? In text? Are knockback slow base melees ever going to be looked at and buffed appropriately? Alright, so you're asking. Alright, so you're asking because the Pooflet did a global knockback nerf to all the melee weapons, and a lot of them were somewhat reliant on it. He did bring back the knockback on some of them. And yeah, as React said, the slow changes might address that. So they will be compensated.
Yeah.
That'll definitely be looked at. They'll be compensated. And Scrungus, this will be the last one for the request.
Yeah, so this is just a short one. Maybe it's a dumb idea, but I was thinking about link ups a bit. Like, why don't we give Cater some active tools to fight back a bit? You know, like, I don't know, maybe a prop that's resistant or immune to AoE claws from Chem Jaegers or whatever, or some kind of deployable, I don't know. Like, the link up resist is cool and all, but like, I think Cater should be able to do something, you know, other than just slam props down and pray.
We did have ideas. Well, we had the attachment thing, like the elemental attachment to props, but that wasn't really like a thought out. I guess like it was a cool idea, but it wasn't like practical. I guess like individual like nails, like different types of nails might do stuff like that.
Oh, 3rd health bar for props. That's like elemental resistance.
Yeah, I mean elemental attachments for props. I don't know. It's like added DPS that was free, so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, even where to begin offering specific suggestions, but just something to consider.
Yeah, no, we have things.
Tools.
Yeah, that's like certain things you could do. I don't know. There's like a lot of things in a lot of areas for expansion. So,
Yeah.
well, it's definitely being looked at least. Like it was considered with elemental attachments. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I'll go.
Oh,
Scott,
if that's it.
there's one more question.
Well, thank you for that.
And then pins. There's a question in pins. It's an actual question.
An actual who did it?
It's from Trixie. But
Trixie? I mean, okay. Yeah, he didn't ask to speak, so I didn't count it. But I will. I'll answer that. From past events, their cosmetics and player models hidden in the shop. Not into not into the shop. They're just they rotate out seasonally. Like they'll always come back in the shops. There's nothing that's like discontinued. The only stuff that like never came back or is like completely locked to normal means is like the player model, the info player model for mappers, and the mapping contest hats that we used to give out. Those are not available. But other than that, anything that's in the shop or like stuff that admins like set for themselves, anything else is rotating out seasonally. That's it really. Sometimes they get added to the main shop, or sometimes they just get put in that shop. That's it. All right. That's it for the actual like requesting to speak questions. We'll do a lightning round. I guess either me or developers will catch questions as they go by.
This is going to be just yes or no.
Yeah, it's like a yes or no lightning round, quick answers.
All right,
All right,
fire.
you're starting.
Go.
Anger be removed or reworked? No, but maybe adjusted.
PTRS 41 moved from force to main, not at the moment.
Okay, bet mode costing a skill point. Yeah, that could be looked at one day.
Dancer chakrams, it's coming.
Instabot parry. Bots are just like aim bots. So. Cooldown on prop transponders, probably not. That could be kind of weird to keep going.
It shouldn't be necessary with the link up shit.
Yeah, it shouldn't be necessary. Yeah, a lot of people seem like they want supply crate guns on main. I think they'll be looked at. I think Frey or Magic will look at them eventually, but not yet. Oh yeah, Nightmare. That we can probably nerf Nightmare slow a little bit. I did overbuff it. I forgot to do that actually. Somebody could probably, either me or someone else could do that. Nightmare slow is a little too much.
Improving leech rate, I don't think it's necessary. I think it's in a good
No, I
place
don't think
right
so.
now.
And if I had to guess, sandbox, silverback, maybe. I'm not sure though. We live in the moment. Okay, so I did tell Pooflet about maybe putting ammo on the skeleton archer for normal mean. Yeah, so maybe that would be a way to bring back skeleton archer and the other one, so they have limited amounts of arrows.
I think that's a fair compromise. Yeah.
Yeah, like the loss. The loss has the same thing. So
Reverting antigen slightly. I'm not sure.
Buff Wunderwaffe. I'm not sure if that weapon is like worth even working on it. It's kind of outdated.
If I was to buff antigen, I think you just get a bit more blood armor back. I don't want to increase your max blood armor or healing. Those two are a bit hard to balance, but I'd be okay. I think I did hit it a bit too harshly. I'll make a note.
collaboration events for midnight. Not. I mean, that's up to them.
Oh, Father Felicia, that's way too much to read.
Too much. If you have a lot to read,
It's too much to read.
too much to read. Try and keep it short and sweet, please.
Yeah, Father Pucci's just saying the warrior.
You asked already. You had one. You had a question already.
Yes, I'm looking at Warrior's Rune. I'll keep an eye on it because I know it's really powerful.
Zeus doesn't need a buff.
No, it doesn't need a buff, Zeus.
No, it's fine.
It does not need a buff. It's fine.
That's my moment.
I'm saying.
Okay, it's trash in comparison to other tier 6s, maybe.
No. Maybe what could use a buff is the ultimate, not the.
Yeah,
projectile.
no, you're right. The actual
Like, the
fire.
ultimate
The
is
build-up
fucking
is trash. Okay, yeah. No, the build-up is trash. I'll give you that. Nah, yeah, the Wonder Waff is complete dog shit.
Yeah, the Wonder Waff needs like a complete rework.
The Wonder Waff is awful.
Man, that's so sad considering it started as a tierless weapon.
Yeah, dude.
Reducing impaler projectile gravity. I don't see why not. Oh yeah, projectiles are getting some changes, so I'll leave that with HST and Reox. More questions about
Monkey, that piece of code is entirely gone. So no, it's not returning.
points of exclusive weapons domain. Yeah, we're always considering that. They just have to be buffed appropriately.
The YouTube channel is just for like archiving events in just one place. It's not really meant for like anything else like that. It's just for archiving stuff.
We accepted clips at one point, but it's not very
Yeah,
consistent.
yeah. We accepted the clips, but honestly, who gives a shit about them? Might as well just keep it for archiving like events and stuff. I mean, nobody uploaded the third Q&A. I want to get on that. Someone should upload that. Whoever has it.
Buff acid for 5 and 6. People use acid on melee.
We'll do it till 7:15, the lightning round questions, and then after that we'll just close. So keep going.
Do people actually use acid on melee?
No.
No.
Definitely not.
No, it's pretty bad on melee.
Yeah.
Don't use it.
Just buff acid attachment.
You really do not want to get close up to it.
Maybe that might be something
I
for
think we
later.
still needed to buff acid a bit.
Alright, be in the cinema server at 7:15 for your reward, and Magic will give it out.
I'll make a note for buffing acid melee.
If you want your reward, 7:15 cinema server.
Buff acid Yeah, but for acid in general, it does need some sort of little buff. Kind of crap. Yeah. I've made a note for acid, melee, and just general. Insta parry be removed from skeleton warrior bots? Probably not. I think that was coded intentionally like that.
Shield design skills is probably Bucket's department, honestly.
The rune, I like having the rune though as just a warrior's charge, but yeah, it can be nerfed or just increased cooldown or whatever.
I mean, what you need to do right now is just fix the oversight and it should be good.
Maybe Bucket can look at Phantom Extraction.
Yeah.
More oil weapons. Yeah, we could use some of them. I think the only oil weapon I was able to like remember was the TR4. What was it called? Catalyst or something?
Okay, objective map, banish stuff is something that probably has to be looked at more. I think having like multiple points of banished or have it move per like trigger or something would be better, but objective maps are kind of old and outdated, so it's really hard to like.
I mean,
you have to update them repeatedly.
How do you call it? Test's new mat, update mats.
I think that's going to be up to Magic Swap to make more objective logic if we want it.
I talked about it last Q&A, but yeah, it's planned.
Yeah, they're old, outdated. Nobody updates them. I got tired of updating them.
It's hard to make a solution that'll work on every objective map. Period. But for banished stuff, we do have a good plan for it, or I do have a good plan for it.
Yeah, you have to be in the cinema server at 7:15 to get the reward. 7:15. That's when we're stopping. Yeah, well, not to their original values. They will be compensated though.
Yeah. If there are certain weapons, knockback ones that are just doing poorly, just let us know. We'll investigate.
Yeah, a few of them were reliant on stuff. So
Ancient Nightmare buffs. I don't know about that. I think it's pretty
doesn't.
good.
I mean,
Fuck, who's the cripple?
What's your question, Father? You can ask right now.
Preferably in bullet point form.
Yeah, bullet point form. Just type it out. No, just type it out. Summarize it.
Just type it, yeah.
It better not be the Warriors Rune question again.
It is. It's I betcha.
I already answered that like 3 times. I was gonna look into it.
Okay, is that it? Can countering with melees be buffed?
Oh, repos. Yeah, that needs changing. It doesn't work with the stackable and feeble anymore. It's kind of pointless. Just needs reworked or changed to something else.
Oh yeah, recharge weapons are overtuned. Oops.
Oh, for reloading, yeah. Probably have to be changed. Alchemy 5 got lost in the wind. Again, we'll probably do like Magic said, a skills 2.0. Everyone's skill tree will be reset. We'll get rid of all the filler skills and make all the skills viable. And probably like redistribute the passive skills like handy and stuff to be just baseline.
And it is now 7:15.
7:15. Get on the cinema server. You have to be on the cinema server now. It's gonna be given out.
Oh yeah, so in about 15 to 30 minutes, we will be playing Sven Co-op for St. Patrick's Day celebrations. Hope to see you there.
Bro, my fucking FPS.
All right.
What am I looking at?
That
What is
pretty much
this?
that concludes our fourth Q&A.
Bro, what is this?
Thank you, everybody. Thank
jealous?
you for coming. Thank you for listening. Appreciate y'all.
What? What?
Wait, did they get their reward?
What happened?
Yep.
There we go.
Wait, what's going
Oh
on?
my god.
People are being funny.
What is this wheelchair player model? Who added this?
Oh, that was back in Magic Shop. I think so.
Oh, that's the spend call player model.
Oh my god, we could have this as a zombie class.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Well, you have to put the ghoul in the chair then. Make a
ghoul
crippled
just
ghoul.
Might well do that
Crippled
now.
ghoul.
Crippled ghoul.
It's the ghoul
Just
triple stacks.
install the HST mod with soy jack ghoul.
You can't go upstairs.
Alright, I am gonna stop the stream in 3,